we need to create a way to switch between the 5 screens in the app. We have previously learned how to switch between screens and add a tab navigator. So let's add a tab navigator here as well. First, I select the Stellar Nebula screen from the Components box. Now these 5 screens should be dragged into a bottom tab navigator. What is a bottom tab navigator? The 5 screens we have created are displayed as 5 tabs. We can switch between screens by clicking the tab corresponding to the screen we want to go. First, let's hide the components under each screen. Otherwise, when more components are added, it is difficult to check. I'm going to click the little arrow in front of the Stellar Nebula screen here. Okay, the components here were hidden. In this way, the arrow in front of the massive star is also clicked. Click on the arrow in front of the red giant again. Next, click the arrow in front of the supernova screen. In this way, click the arrow in front of the black hole at the end and hide the components under each screen. Now let's go back to the Stellar Nebula screen. Now in Add Components, under Layout, let's add a bottom tab navigator here. Previously, when we dragged the component to the screen. But here, when dragging a tab navigator, it is easy to drag it into the box showing components instead of dragging it to the screen. Therefore, I drag the bottom tab navigator up from the Stellar Nebula screen like this. Look well, when an orange color horizontal line is displayed above the home screen, I drop the bottom tab navigator. The display of a horizontal line means that we have added the bottom tab navigator to the same level as the Stellar Nebula screen. Now, like Stellar Nebula, massive star, red giant, supernova, black hole, the bottom tab navigator is also at the same level in the project. But I want not like this. I want to add these 5 screens to the bottom tab navigator. Look, here along with the bottom tab navigator, 4 more screens have been automatically added. Home, About, Contact, Setting. Our app does not need these 4 screens. So let's delete them. I click on the delete icon in front of each of these screens and from here I click on the delete button. Okay. Now let's add these 5 screens to the bottom tab navigator. First, drag the Stellar Nebula screen to the bottom tab navigator like this. We learned in previous lessons that if you want to add another component to a component, when a vertical line is displayed in front of that component, drop the component you want to add. Let's drag the Stellar Nebula screen in this way and drop it when an orange color vertical line is displayed near the tab navigator. Now you can see that the Stellar Nebula screen is under the bottom tab navigator. In this way, the massive star screen should also be added to the bottom tab navigator. Now if this massive star screen is added to the same level as the Stellar Nebula screen, isn't it right? Yes. I drag the massive star screen to the Stellar Nebula screen. Since we want to add to this level, drop the massive star screen when an orange color horizontal line is displayed below the Stellar Nebula screen. Look well, not a vertical line, a horizontal line. In the same way, drag the red giant screen upwards and drop it where a horizontal line is displayed below the massive star screen. Drag the supernova screen back to the red giant screen. The remaining black hole screen is dragged up like before and dropped when an orange color horizontal line is displayed below the supernova screen. Okay, now you can see that all the 5 screens we have added are displayed in the bottom tab navigator.